Right. And since you're kind enough to stand up and give a speech at the last minute, could you please tell us, since I don't have an intro, which speech you're going to give out of which manual?
This is going to be speech number 2 out of the Confident Communicator Manual.
Okay. And the title?
The title is Universal Laparoscopic Suture Device.
I'll give you an argument for that one.
Right. Please, everyone, give our fourth speaker, Mark, a welcome.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. My name is Mark Idari. Currently, I am a graduate student at the University of South Florida in their Masters of Entrepreneurship and Applied Technologies program. One of the things that is unique about this program is that we get a chance to take a look at a lot of new technologies. Current class I'm taking is called Strategic Marketing Assessment. And the title of my speech, Universal Laparoscopic Suturing Device, is one of the actual instruments we're looking at a patent that was recently approved by some researchers from the University of South Florida. Tonight I'm going to talk to you, give you a little background on what is laparoscopic surgery, some of the challenges in laparoscopic surgery, some of the existing technologies, some of the new technologies, talk a little bit about the methodology behind the assessment we make of whether to bring the product to market, and then the decision processes around that. So laparoscopic surgery, from what we know about surgery, just generally speaking, we think of a physician maybe using a scalpel, which is like a lay term for a knife, but this is a knife for a medical person, and they're cutting some part of our body and going within to perform some kind of function. Laparoscopic surgery is actually called minimally invasive surgery because there's only small incisions that are made into the body. Now, why this is important, some of you might have had surgery in the past where you may have different sizes of cuts on your body. Some of the issues physicians deal with are healing times, whether or not the patients bleed a lot, and the actual recovery period for that patient. So some of the new challenges within the medical industry is to reduce those healing times. This laparoscopic type of surgery, because of the small incisions that are made in the body, reduces the blood flow, meaning any kind of bleeding, reduces the patient's healing time. So physicians are generally more favorable towards it because it gets you in and out of the office quicker. They could see more patients and make more money. Some of the challenges with laparoscopic surgery is when these incisions are made, and just to give you guys more of an understanding, so you have several different small incisions that are made within the body. There is a fiber optic camera that's put inside the body. Carbon dioxide gas is actually introduced into the body to expand the body cavity so that these different instruments could move around without touching any other body parts. After this procedure is done, the different type of medical equipment is introduced in there. There's smaller types of scalpels that are used to cut, or sometimes with these procedures they're probing to see if there's any disease anyway. Some of the more common procedures for women are hysterectomies. For men, there's different type of urological issues. Some of the most common things in addition to that are also bariatric or weight loss surgery, where they go in and do the lap band type of procedure to also add to that. The challenge after the physicians do this is actually to close up whatever wounds that they make, and this is where the device itself comes into place. These suturing type of devices, which the nature of this talk is around. Some of the existing technologies, and I apologize because tonight I did have a PowerPoint presentation to give you more of a vivid. picture of what I'm talking about, but you have three manufacturers, Johnson & Johnson, Covidien, and Endoevolution, that make several different products that are some of the existing technologies. Most of the physicians also opt to use what's called robotic-assisted surgery. Some of you may hear this from TV commercials and also maybe in some publications. And what happens with that is that the physicians are outside the operating room space and they can go in with these instruments while you're already prepared in the operating room. The challenges with all of these surgeries is that, number one, these are very small spaces that the physician is working in, and also they're only able to observe what they can see on a screen. The technology, again, that we're researching is what's called a universal laparoscopic suturing device. Some of the existing technologies are proprietary, which means that only that particular manufacturer can use it. And from a business standpoint, that kind of makes sense. But with the Affordable Care Act, some people refer to it as Obamacare, it is challenging the healthcare community to really focus on reducing costs. Some of these procedures with the robotic assisted run somewhere between $50,000 to $60,000, whereas the use of the individual devices themselves are a little bit less than that. There was a patent for the universal laparoscopic suturing device that I'm mentioning that was approved in July of this past year. We have 3 researchers from the University of South Florida. Dr. Stuart Hart, which is a professor of engineering, and also the director of the Center for Advanced Minimally Invasive Surgery at University of South Florida. You have Dr. Susanna Lay, who is an industrial engineer and also a PhD, a master's researcher that helped with the whole study. Assessing the instrument, we took a look at a lot of different criteria from the researcher's experience, the amount of publications they have made, the different types of meetings they have attended, and their networks into the medical community and their overall experience. What we arrived at was a particular score that showed us, and that score was 59. Within the range of what we have in our index, it showed that that score represents a process to move on to licensing. In conclusion, based on the score and the fact that this universal device is different than the proprietary devices that we have out there, the decision has been made for us to continue on, and now we're going to be focusing on a market research aspect of our program.